What are the big catalysts for 2023 at Tesla that are going to move the stock? Now, Gary Black and others have created their own lists of catalysts, and I think some of them are very clever and very wise and very true, but I have a completely different list, and we'll see if we can get through all of it today. I have 16 items on my catalyst list, and if you want to add to it, I'd love to have you add to it. So put those in the comments below, send me a tweet, DM me, join Patreon, and participate with us as we prognosticate about the future. But okay, I don't think I said who this is. This is Randy Kirk, and we're going to talk about catalysts today. So where do I start? Well, I'm going to start with a couple of kind of shockers. Now, several months ago, I wrote a book called The Elon Musk Mission. You can see it there behind my shoulder. And in that book, there were some shockers. We talked about the shock of this new facility, this Lathrop facility that nobody knew anything about or was talking about, and how that was going to be the future, and how we were going to be ramping up to billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of energy in the short term, not years and years into the future, but that Elon's statement that energy was going to be huge, that was going to be true now. It was happening now. Anyway, so I'm going to try to break a little news here today on this particular version of the show. And I could be completely wrong about this. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just, I'm experimenting here. So number one catalyst, a breakthrough in silicon mining. And this could happen a couple of different ways. Elon has leased some land, or Tesla has leased some land there in near Nevada. I'm not sure exactly. I can't remember exactly which state, but it might be in Nevada, that has some silicon-rich clay deposits. He said, we think that we have some ideas about how to do better silicon mining out of clay than have been done in the past that would reduce the cost of mining, would reduce the complexity of mining, etc. He's also said that the new facility at Corpus Christi that they're going to be doing refining, it's not going to take 7 years or 5 years to build and outfit and certify that plant to do refining like it typically takes to do a silicon refinery plant, but rather it's only going to take 2 years. Well, maybe the reason it's going to take 2 years is because the material that comes to the refinery is already going to be better. It's going to require less refining. And that would be true maybe if they found a new way, if they have a new way to mine in these clay deposits. The other option is, and by the way, you'll notice that the facility that's going in, the new stuff that's happening in Sparks, is going to require a lot of batteries, and it's going to require a lot of silicon, and they're going to build a lot of batteries, et cetera, et cetera. So the fact that they might be mining silicon, well, that idea is perfect, except that they haven't announced a refinery in that area to keep it all really close and reduce the amount of logistical costs that might be involved. But this other one might. So everybody assumed that Corpus Christi was going to be set up down there by the port, so that you could bring in the mined lithium from Australia and from other places around the world, where in South America, where there are these large lithium mining facilities, and that's very likely the case. Okay. But I'm going to throw out the idea that maybe Elon is going to mine salt water. I did some research this morning. I was pretty sure that I was right, but I wanted to be 100% on this. And there are 4 or 5 different ways to mine the salt water to get to the lithium. It's not easy, but there are methods that are available. It has not been done successfully to the point where it could be turned into a scaled approach. I think there is one possibly place in the world where they have scaled this up to where it's actually, I don't know if it's making money, but where they're actually producing a decent amount of of lithium this way. So anyway, I'm just saying maybe Elon and his crew have come up with a way to effectively get the silicon, I did it again, the lithium out of salt water and then mine it that way, then refine it there in Corpus Christi. And again, that maybe this process of mining is going to make it easier for them to refine. So that's number one. Do you think that that would move the market? Do you think if that was announced maybe on March 1, that they have these new capabilities, that would move the market? I think it would move the market, but in a risk-off environment, maybe not. But if anybody's thinking at all, then I think it would move the market. Maybe it may not be the 30 or 50% move that we might see for some of these other catalysts that we're going to talk about, but I think it would move the market. Okay. Number two, a second and or third location announcement for Megapack. Yeah, you thought I was going to say for Gigafactories. Well, we'll talk about Gigafactories in a minute, but I think the thing that'll move the market right now is that if they already announce a second or third location for Megapack production, I think that would be the more interesting kind of okay, Tesla's a story stock. The story about automotive is now it's there. So the story for this year is not automotive. It's not Model 3s or Model Ys, although Model Y becoming the number one unit seller in the world, that could possibly be a catalyst when that's announced, but it'll be just a headline type thing. But the things that are going to move the market this year are going to be the new things, and the new things are going to be things like energy, which is a massive cash cow, an unlimited market, according to Elon. So if they announce a second location and maybe even a third location, and Elon alluded to that in the call, kind of again with a chuckle, kind of like, yeah, that's definitely on our mind. So could that happen March 1st? Absolutely could happen. Could it happen before or after? Yes, but I think it could move the market. It helps the story move on this whole energy thing. Number three, a new commercial vehicle reveal. This was not something that was on my list until the earnings call. And they definitely have another commercial vehicle that they're going to reveal. This is clear. They said it. So when that is revealed, is it a van? Is it a larger truck? Is it a pickup truck? Is it what in the world is it? We know that Elon has talked about vans quite a bit in the past. The Mercedes van in particular, he thought was a good product, and I think even had some talks with Mercedes about some kind of a joint venture at one point. So maybe that's what it is. But we know there's another commercial truck of some kind, a commercial vehicle, not a truck, a commercial vehicle coming. What does that mean? Okay. In the same vein, at March 1st, the Investor Day, we're going to hear about the Gen 3 vehicles. There is a rule that needs to be broken. I gave another rule here at the earnings report last week. I said, well, what happens with Tesla when they announce their earnings, the stock, and before the earnings are announced, and when they announce the actual earnings, the stock tends to be going up. And then when they have the call, the stock falls off. And then I didn't add the fact that generally speaking, the 2 weeks after, the stock goes up. But this time, what we had the stock kind of flat, a little bit up before the earnings call. And then after the call, the stock went to the moon. So we've broken that rule. So the other rule is at reveals and these big event days, we're all sitting there as insiders. We're sitting there going, oh my gosh, what a breakthrough. Oh, that's incredible. I can't believe how great that is. And it's like the old days at Apple. I would watch these reveals and I think, oh my gosh, the stock should be going to the moon. And it never did until later when people started to kind of, oh, okay, I see. Oh, I get it. So I think this March 1 event would be a great time to break that rule. And one of the ways I think the rule gets broken is if the $25,000 car and or the platform, the skateboard, and then several different iterations of what could go on the skateboard and or the fact that it's a robotaxi So who knows what it's all going to be, but maybe this particular reveal is going to break the rule, and maybe we'll see the stock go crazy during and right after the March 1 event. Anyway, key question, what is the Gen 3 vehicle? What is the new platform? That's what we want to find out. That's the main reason for the meeting, as well as maybe we're going to hear about Master Plan 3. Certainly he's going to be talking about energy and some of the ramps. I would love to hear like the details of how we get there. We're starting to get them, but I've got a lot of questions. I'm going to do a video next week on the questions that I have that I would love to see answered like today, but maybe March 1 will be a good day for it as well. Okay, next after that is Gigafactory location or 2 announcements. Now, Elon promised us all last year that we would get 2 Gigafactory announcements before the end of the year. Recognize, of course, that making those kinds of statements is a little tough because you're dealing with countries and states that have to approve things, and they have to negotiate over any tax benefits and incentives that might be there. And there might be 2 or 3 different locations that are in competition. So you can't really nail down as precisely as you might like when these announcements are going to be made. But we are still promised 2. And some people are saying, well, maybe the Sparks Nevada extension was that announcement. No, that wasn't the announcement. It was 2 Gigafactory announcements. Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, a second one in China, a possible Mexico. Those are some of the most likely ones that are being bandied about, or another one in the United States, maybe an East Coast. So I think we get those 2 announcements. I'd like to see those 2 announcements as soon as possible, because we need to put the spade in the ground and we need to start digging if we're going to get these numbers that we want to get in 2024 and 2025. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, and by the way, those announcements would definitely move the market, don't you think? I think they would. Okay, number 6, FSD achieves level 4 or level 5 capability. This version 11 that's been promised for weeks and weeks now, obviously they're running into problems or they're running into solutions or who knows what's going on, but any day now we should get version 11. Who knows whether that'll move the market or not. Once the testers get out there and they start putting their videos up and we see how much better it is, once we find out whether people that are afraid of it previously are starting to go, oh, hey, I like this now. But I'm not sure that'll move the market very much. It might move it a little, but not very much, even if it's really, really good. What we really need is an announcement by Tesla that says, you do not have to keep your hands on the wheel anymore. You do not have to sit in the driver's seat anymore. When that happens, the market moves. Now, it might move down because everybody will be yelling, oh my gosh, now there'll be crashes. And no, I think that the insiders, the investor crew, both retail and major investors, I think that when that announcement is made, they're going to know it's serious. And I think it'll move the market. All right. This is going to take an hour and a half at the rate I'm going. The next one would be number 7, the first 600,000 unit quarter. Now, I just did a video the other day, maybe yesterday. I don't know when these are all going to come out, but you can go take a look at it where I talk about the details of the financial picture going into 2023, how many cars are going to be made, how much money that's going to make, et cetera, et cetera. I encourage you to go back and look at that if you'd like to see those details, or you can join Patreon and they are posted on Patreon, and you can even play with them. You can get in there and do your own thing. So the number that I'm showing in that particular chart is from 800,000. I'm sorry, 1.8 million, which is the bottom number according to Elon, up to 2.3 million, which is the number I really think is going to be. So in order to get to 2.3 million, you're going to have a $600,000 quarter. And I'm saying that if they come out and post on the 2nd or 3rd day of the month that they've just had a 600,000 unit quarter, that's going to move the market, because that's going to start to say, oh no, the 1.8 million was silly. The 2 million was just slightly less silly. This company is on its way to 2 point something, and that is a significant change in the profit picture for the year. All right. So if that happens, 600,000 quarter, I'm saying that could be as early as the second quarter. Number 8, that energy hits $2 billion in a single quarter. I think that could happen in quarter 1, no later than quarter 2. And that will then be a story. Okay. Story stock needs story. Well, $2 billion in profit will be story. Okay. And that'll be talked about. That'll be headline. So when we hit 2 billion, I think that moves the market. That's a catalyst. Okay. Number 9, if the IRA credits, the tax credit, reach $1 billion in a single quarter. According to Elon and Zach, this will not happen this year. The most it's going to be is 250 million. It all depends on the ramp of the batteries. And it also depends a little bit on the decisions by the Treasury with regard to what counts and what doesn't count. So we're not 100% sure, but if there is a quarter, maybe it's the fourth quarter, maybe it's not until the first quarter of next year, where that IRA total equals $1 billion or more, I think that moves the market. Okay, I think it's eventually going to be a lot more than that, in the multiple billions per quarter. But for now, let's just look at it the first time that it hits 1 billion. Number 10, Tesla shows, I love this one. Tell me this won't move the market. Please help me out in the comments below. Will number 10 move the market? If Tesla provides a video or does a day or whatever, and they show 30 or more Optimus robots working in the factory, specifically doing jobs in the factory, will that move the market? I'm saying that'll move the market. Now, if you follow the channel, you know that I think they're going to hand build 300 to 1,000 robots this year in order to get the data, in order to see to iterate multiple iterations, changes and what they learn, and then adding to that, and then all the data coming in from these robots actually taking jobs and handling their jobs. I think it'll be way more than 30, but I'm saying it doesn't have to be 30, whatever the number is. They do a video and they show a bunch, maybe it's 25, maybe it's 50, maybe it's 100 of robots out in the factories doing useful work. That will move the market. All right. Number 11, Dojo as a service announced. This might be third quarter, might be fourth quarter, might be sooner. Dojo will be fully on board and working, apparently, according to Elon, maybe in the second quarter, certainly sometime fairly soon. Once it's working when it's operating and useful for the company, they will be able to make decisions as to whether they think it would be useful to offer it as a service to others. They believe it would be 10 times better than existing equipment, and it would be really the only computer in the world that was specifically designed to do neural net training. So I think they're going to offer it as a service. If they do, it could be massive numbers like the Amazon Web Services, AWS, that actually makes more money than Amazon retail. So could be massive, and I think it moves the market when they announce that they're going to offer it as a service. It may only move it a little bit because a lot of people will be like, what does that really mean? And they certainly didn't get it at Amazon. It took a couple of quarters, a few quarters for Amazon earnings to just be huge on AWS before the market got it. And then the stock went to the moon. Number 12, across the board price increases because of demand. Again, please comment below. You think that'll move the market? The other day, they had a $500 price increase on one item just a few days after they decreased all those prices. If all of a sudden there's a headline item, all Model 3s are up 1,000, or, China raises by 500, the United States by 1,000, whatever it is, but it's across the board, there's a whole bunch of increases. And the reason for the increase is not because their costs are going up, but Elon has to go out there again and say, look, we don't want people flipping cars. We don't want people to have to wait 9 months for their cars. So we're raising the price a little bit to reduce the demand a little bit. If that happens, the market goes. I'm saying 20%, 30% on that announcement. That'll be a huge catalyst. Can't wait for the day. Okay, number 13, the 4680 hits 12 gigawatts per quarter. Per quarter, yes. That's about 50% of planned capacity of 100 gigawatts a year. When Austin announces they're at 12 per quarter, which might happen in a quarterly earnings report. It might happen. They might just have one of those things where they have all of the team get together and they take a picture and they go, hey, we reached 12 gigawatts. However it happens, people are waiting for the 4680 to be real. Right now, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, they talked a lot about this. The story is a little broken. We need the story to become solid again. We need to be something that mom can read at bedtime with enthusiasm. Okay. All right. So that's a big one. I think that'll be a big one. Number 14, when Cybertruck hits 100 a week of units sold or units produced, so, the first 50, 100, 200 units are going to go out to employees. They're going to go out to people to test. I'm talking about the first 100 units that actually go to consumers. When that announcement's made, I think the market moves because Cybertruck is another big story. It's a huge story. Elon says it's the best product. It's going to be the best product that the company's ever made. He's only planning for 250,000 units a year, but we know that it's 1 million, 2 million a year. Easily, the market for the the truck is going to be that high. So when that announcement is made that they're ready to put it in the hands of consumers, I think the market moves. Okay, that's number 14. Number 15 is the first major positive review of Cybertruck. There's going to be consumers. They're going to put YouTube videos up about it. There's going to be, employees that are, tweeting about it or something that people will hear about. But there's going to become a day when some magazine or some online resource or somebody significant is going to have a chance to ride around and play with and walk through the truck. When that happens, I think the market moves. Yeah, it might be a smaller move, but again, we need the story to have something to grab hold of. We need some depth and some breadth and some color in the story. And when the color comes, I think the market moves. All right, the final one is the Highlander. When the Highlander, Model 3 Highlander version starts getting produced and they put the price up, and the price in China is going to be $25,000, and the price in the United States, if they're going to sell it in the United States, the price is going to be $29,900. When that happens, now where do I get those numbers? Randy, what are you talking about? Somebody made an announcement that we missed. Of course, I'm spitballing here. So I'm saying in China, it'll be $25,000. United States, if they sell it here, it'll be $29,900. And in fact, if they ship it from China to Australia, New Zealand, et cetera, to all the nations that China is supplying, I think it'll be $29,900 everywhere else. When that happens, I think we get a significant market move because that is a key market segment that everybody's talking about. So when the narrative, when the story fits what everybody's thinking, that's always a market mover. So there's my 16 catalysts that I believe can move the market or will move the market when they happen. I believe almost all of those, maybe the IRA thing is next year, almost everything else in that list, I think happens this year. And so lots of market movers. We're on the way to 700. That's my estimate for next year. People said, are you talking 700 this year or next year? I'm thinking 400 this year. I'm sorry, I'm 400 this year and 700 next year. That's what I'm thinking. So add to my catalyst list, knock down my catalyst list, comment. What would you change in my catalyst list? Where have I gone wrong? Am I being too optimistic? Am I being a hyper bull, an uber bull? I've been accused of both. Hey, let me know what you think. If you like it, sign up to Patreon, and it's been great talking to you.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.